Awesome. So, welcome to the Conversion Club. Thanks for everyone who's joining us. If you haven't seen Tosh's original training, just put it in the chat. Let us know because we could post it. I could post it in there, the YouTube. But I think it was very beneficial, and several people on the training said they would like to continue and to learn more. Right, Tosh?
Yeah, definitely. That was a good session.
Yeah, it was a really good session, and people can see how language changes your life. For me, anyways, is as soon as I learned how to change the way I spoke to clients, I doubled my commission. And it's easier to change the way you speak than it is to go find another deal. So that's the whole point of this group is how can we improve our language skills and how we can be more relatable and build more trust with our clients. Or is that wrong, Tosh? What do you think?
That's 100% right, and like any magician, I brought in a couple ringers, my wife, Lisa
Oh,
Ann, and daughter Cheyenne.
good.
They weren't just here to make it look like we're packed, but because they've been on this journey from the beginning of how hard it was to pick up that phone, saying the wrong things and basically getting totally discouraged at working with online leads. And now they are absolute rock stars at it. So I brought them in for their input when I go astray.
Well, that's good.
Yes.
And just for people know, I do have a meeting at 10 that I'll have to jump off, but if you keep jamming and need to keep going, I can keep you know, the Zoom going. That's no problem. So, this will be good. It looks like we have
Okay.
quite a bit jumping on here. Um, yeah, I think we've got everyone admitted. There might be some more people who jump in, but what do you say we just get started?
Let's do it. And whoever can have their camera on, it's helpful. I like to see how it's resonating. If I'm getting through to you guys.
Yeah, a couple rules, right? Like we're going
hmm
to deliver, but you need to participate as well. So if you can, yeah, have your camera on.
So, throw one in the chat just so I know here if anybody here has worked online leads before or is working them. Do we have some people? That's not that wrong finger, Lisa Awesome, awesome. And okay, so what we're talking about here is primarily working online leads. I want to talk about the difference between cold leads and warm or online leads because they're two different things. Online leads are leads that have signaled some sort of intent. They've come into your database, whether it was through clicking on a Google PPC ad or something like that. The point being is that they found their way to you. You didn't just pick up the phone and start randomly dialing through the phone book because these are two different strategies, and we're talking about the semi-warm top of funnel lead. So put a one in the chat if you absolutely love making phone calls to leads.
How about a zero?
Yeah. Nobody? That's good because that means you're human, right? The fear of picking up that phone is about as near as natural as the fear of public speaking or spiders or your mother-in-law coming over for the weekend, right? It strikes fear in your heart. But today we're going to break down exactly why you'd rather do literally anything else than make phone calls, and then we're going to fix it. Sound good? Let's get jamming.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
So put a one in the chat if one of your biggest fears is by being seen as being pushy or annoying. Yeah, there we go. There we go, right? Probably the number one. Like we are all good people here. We are respectful of people's time. We are kind and considerate, right? So being seen as being pushy or annoying, that's probably the biggest turnoff and the biggest reluctance that I hear when helping agents make calls. But I want you to think about it. Is this coming from your perspective or their perspective, right? Because these people just don't know they need you, right? We all know that when we get in front of somebody, we offer a lot of value, don't we? Every one of us is an expert. We care, we're concerned, we're there, right? Just understand that you're curious, you're an expert, and Zillow doesn't give a shit about their divorce, their baby, their new job, or anything. You are real people. Now, some people won't believe that, some people can't handle it, and that's okay. We're here to serve those who are willing to be served, right? Can we all agree? Number
Absolutely.
two, number two, put another one in the chat if the fear of rejection and negative reaction keeps you from making phone calls. Well, that's another strong contender, right? Right. The primary fear is hearing no, being hung up on, or having a lead lose their temper and become abusive towards you. Look, you aren't going to be everybody's cup of tea. I'm certainly not. You aren't going to catch everyone at the best time of the day. This is real life. It's raw and it's unscripted, isn't it? And you need to own that suck. Look,
Yeah,
back
Josh
then,
says that his motto is he's always wanted to work with people who want to work with him, period. Which
that
I do too. And the art is how do you take a stranger and convert them to, hey, this person wants to work with me. That's the trick, right?
Yeah, yeah. And like to Josh, I'd ask, okay, how do you know they don't want to work with you yet? Right? This is what we're breaking through. We need to own this suck. Back in the day, a lot of us had terrible game and still managed to land a significant other, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right. Yeah.
my wife is here in proof, right?
Oh yeah. That's pretty.
So the next point here is we're going to go a little PG-13. So if there's any preteens here, plug your ears. But is anybody worried about being told to F off? Or has anybody ever heard that one?
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, we've heard that one, right? Here's why being told to F off is a blessing. Because time is your most valuable asset. Do we agree? So you
Yeah.
just saved yourself weeks, months of follow-up emails, texts, and voicemails to someone who is never going to work with you anyway. Every minute wasted on that dead-end lead is time stolen from somebody who actually needs you. So thank you very much for that, right?
That's actually a great point. I never thought of that. If they tell me to F off, perfect. That's great. Yeah, I don't have to
Yeah,
waste my time.
right.
That's just a great idea.
On that same subject, clarity is kindness. They just gave you the most honest answer you're probably going to get in all your calls that day. There's no games, no just looking, no call me back in 6 months when they don't ever intend to answer your phone call again. They just told you the truth, and it's respectful in a brutal sort of way,
Yeah, I want to
right?
put a two in the chat if anybody has been drug on by a client who acts like they want to work with you, but they end up listing with another agent. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
bullshit. Pardon the PG. Yeah,
See, we can read a lot into the F off. The third is there's zero guilt, zero wondering, right? You're off the hook. No more. Should I follow up with him? Did I catch him at a bad time? What if I try one more time? Nope, we're done, right? We can move on with clear conscience. And the last point on that is it's confirmation you're actually working. If you're never getting that rejection or a similar one, you're not making enough calls. That means you're not in the trenches. I know Cheyenne and Lisanne both have some great stories they would love to tell over a cocktail sometime of responsiveness that they've gotten. We could write a book of unique and colorful responses, right? But if you're not getting those, you aren't making the calls. Give
that's the
everybody,
truth. Yep.
right? So we've covered that we're worried about being seen as pushy or annoying, about fear of rejection or negative reactions,
Yeah.
or simply being told to F off. Everybody with me so far? Are we jamming okay? So the third is about fear of making a mistake. Throw a number in the chat if that's one of them. Yeah, go for no, right? Cheyenne, you don't make mistakes. That's great. The fear of making a mistake is huge, and I'm going to be honest, that wasn't one of the biggest concerns I had when I started making calling. Because unlike an email, you can't go back and undo it, right? And most of us are really good in person, right? We can pick up, we can pivot, but when you're on the phone, you freeze up, you sound unprepared, or you stumble over the words. Anybody ever done that?
I've
Yeah.
I've even done that with agent attraction. I've called an agent and we were jamming pretty good. And he goes, "Let me get my business partner on here." And the business partner's like, "Give me the
Yeah.
facts now." And then I'm just like, yeah. And I got off the phone. I'm like, "Oh, that was terrible. I did horrible. I lost that deal, and just unfortunate." But
But on the flip side, think about phone calls you've got. Did you ever get a phone call and the diction's a little too perfect, or the cadence is just a little off from what we're hearing? And what does
yeah,
your radar say? spam, spam, hang up, right?
Yep.
And here's another little fact to keep in the back of your mind, and that's the average American reads at a seventh grade level. So most of us do not have a PhD in grammar, and we're often intimidated by high intelligence people. Meet people where they are. Real people stumble, stutter, and sometimes, even according to my wife, say some dumb shit. Okay? So it's okay, and it's natural, and it's relatable. Most people feel a little off put by a super polished presentation, don't they? I know I've spent some time with Sean here. Like when I talk to that guy, he's just a good, honest dude, and it comes across on the phone. If he was reading off some script that wasn't naturally him, it would not play the same, right? If Lewis wasn't Lewis and kind of wandering all over the board and meandering, I'd be worried that AI had taken over, right?
That's fair.
Okay, the number four fear is the fear of the unknown. Does anybody live in that little fear realm? And that's not knowing how the person on the other end is going to react. Have you ever made a call and it didn't go the way you thought it was going to, or it took a weird route?
I think that's probably a big fear for a lot of people. They just maybe don't think of it that way, but absolutely, that's what you're actually afraid of. You don't know if they're going to tell you to F off or if they're going to be cool or if they're going to be ornery or you're going to have to be, they're going to call you on the spot or they're going to make you prove your skill. You don't know.
Yep, exactly. And how do you prepare for that, right? This leads then to high anxiety and the fear of the unexpected. And you're thinking about this before you even pick up that phone to dial. You're trying to anticipate what the person on the other end will do if they even answer the phone. So you're already off in a negative mindset, right? We got to remember that this isn't life or death. Seriously, hear me out here. Whether that person hangs up on you or you get pulled into a 40-minute phone conversation on the benefits of kale, it's all good.
Yeah.
And we've been there, right? We've all had these long conversations for something we didn't care anything about. But we're mining for gold, and that means we're going to have to sift through mountains and mountains of dirt to find nuggets. And the only time you're going to be guaranteed a no or shut down is when you don't make a call at all. So let that sink in a little bit. The kind of the final fear is a fear of failure of not hitting your target. And I want everybody to think about this when I explain it. Is anybody making calls because they need to make deals? And put a one in the chat. Are you? And think of that. You're making a call and putting the pressure on the person on the other end of that phone to pay your mortgage, to make your car payment, to fund that next vacation. And that not only is a lot of pressure, that's a lot of fear. And that's a bit much to ask of them, right? The pressure of needing to close a deal can make every call feel high stakes, increasing the fear that each no is a personal failure on your part. And I need you to know that this is about numbers. It's always about numbers. Statistically, you're going to need to make at least 100 calls to have one conversation that lasts more than a few minutes. So we're looking for a needle in a haystack, the diamond in the rough, the gold in that big pile, right? And almost everyone will give up because it's hard. And that's why you're going to build a robust pipeline that feeds you all year. And other people are going to say online leads or suck. Okay. Because we're not going to put that pressure on the person we're calling and we're not going to put it on us. We're going to call people to have conversations because we're really good at what we do. And I know every one of you, when you get in front of a client, you shine. Your empathy, your curiosity, your expertise comes through, right? We just got to do it a little differently now when we're calling them on the phone. So now we have reached the audience participation section.
Now all of a sudden 17 people go off. Yeah.
That's right. So we're going to rip off the Band-Aid. So who is ready to step up and share their intro? Put a one in the chat. I'm going to start calling names if we don't get that.
Oh, Sean says.
All right, Sean will do it.
Justin
Okay.
says. All right.
Hey Tosh, how are you, bud?
Good. So we're gonna do this. Here's the scenario. It's me, it's Tosh. I've registered on your website and I've been
Okay.
looking at some properties. So I want you to do the ring ring. I'm gonna pick up the phone and then we're just gonna take me briefly through your introduction.
Okay. All right. Okay, ring ring.
Hello.
Hi, Tosh. This is Sean. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing all right.
Good. Hey, you actually I'm just calling. You'd registered on my website to take a look at some properties, and I just wanted to see, how come you're looking to move?
Oh, I'm just kind of looking around, just generally browsing, not really looking to do anything.
Oh, that's great. That's great. What areas have you been looking at?
All right, we'll cut that right there.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Sean just, like he was a ringer somebody planted in here, all right?
Yeah.
Well, it's because I've been already getting coached by you, so
Okay, so point number one, does anybody know what Sean did perfectly? Cheyenne? Please say in. Anybody?
Open-ended question.
Yep, open-ended question.
Identified himself.
Yeah.
He also
Mhm.
acted like he knew you.
There you go.
Yep.
So the first tactic is to mirror and match, right? So when I said hello, how does Sean say hello?
Hello, same way.
The same way, right? If I had said, yeah, Sean might have said, yeah, right? The key is to repeat their greeting exactly and with the same tone and cadence. So if it's hello back. If it's good morning, then you're good morning. And the purpose here is we're not trying to copy them, but creating ease and familiarity through matching their energy and language, right? So, when I call Lewis, he's like, yeah, I'm going to be like, yeah, Lewis, what's up? Right?
I might even say, "What up?" Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. So why does this work? Why does this simple little tactic work? And it's because we naturally mimic people we're comfortable with. It's called the chameleon effect, right? Think about when you interact with your friends or your family. When you mirror someone's greeting and tone, you're tapping into an unconscious instinct that builds instant rapport and trust and makes them feel safe talking to you.
And
And
don't
think
you think
about
people actually overthink that, huh? They think that if they match the person, they're going to be fake. That's not the case at all, right?
no, no, it's not the case at all. Because if somebody is a high energy, good morning, and you're like, good morning, how did that dynamic just shift? Right?
Yeah.
Right? Same way if you go the other way, if they're good morning and you're good morning, boy, that is a lot at 8:30 in the morning. Like, let's take it down, let's meet them where they are. And you're gonna hear me say this a lot, meet them where they are, right?
I think also,
So
Tosh, I think it throws them off too when you aren't on the same level like that.
100%. Yep, yep. They aren't expecting a call from a friend or a concerned person necessarily. They don't know that number. They're expecting what to be sold, good news, bad news. So that's number one, mirror and match them. And you
Can
want to
I
use
ask a
that
question real quick
tact.
about
Mhm.
like the introduction? Do you recommend saying like you're a real estate agent or this is Darby with Real Broker or just this is Darby?
A
Like what do
great
you recommend
question.
there?
So a little bit depends on in what your state laws are. But generally, we do say who we are. We don't get into a long thing. We keep it short. Hi, this is Tosh with the Willamette Properties Group Real Brokerage, giving you a call. We kind of want to move quickly past the legal disclaimer, right? I mean, yes, it's polite to identify who you are, but we don't need to dwell on that. Go ahead,
Hey,
Lewis.
I just want to say I kind of do it in two phases. I like to when, hey Sean, if Sean says hello, this is Lewis, I'm like, hey, is this Sean? And he says, hey, and I go, hey, it's Lewis with Real. You registered on my website, and you know what I mean? You don't, it doesn't have to be much, but I address them kind of like I know them. Hey Sean, how are you? I'm good. How are you? I'm great. I'm
Yeah,
with a broker. You were on my website. Just real basic stuff.
right.
I don't
Okay, who
think a
wants to?
big introduction helps, right? Like, hey, this is Lewis Weaver, top producer in Utah. Da, 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 da. Anyway, sorry.
That's how you got us.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
All right, Justin Smith, do you want to try it? Destiny there? All right, Jamie Jacobson, how about you? You look like you're ready to roll the dice.
I don't know about that. That's why I'm here listening to
That's
this.
good.
Jamie's got
That's
like
why we're
seven,
all here. Yeah, we're
like
all
seven gold
friends.
on the
You'll do
top of that.
awesome, Jamie. You'll do
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm calling you.
Yep.
Okay, ring ring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. So, okay, that's the one. That's the guy that throw you off. Cheyenne, Lisanne, pros of hundreds of calls. Does that throw you off when somebody answers in a way you weren't expecting?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's pivotal. Let's play that again. What could you say?
Maybe just, yeah, hi, is this Tosh?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Tosh, right? Yeah. Okay. So let's start there again. Yeah.
Yeah, hi, Tosh. This is Jamie Jacobson with Real Broker. How are
Hi,
you?
Jamie. Good. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. Hey, I saw that you registered on my website and I just wondered what I can help you with.
Well, I guess not anything.
Yeah, what were you poking around the website for?
Oh, I just saw the neighbor's house down the street was on the market, so I was just curious. I didn't want to
Okay.
bother anybody.
Oh, well, that's what we're here for. I'm curious, what area do you live in?
Okay. All right, good. Good. Way to push past the objection. So we threw her off a little bit there, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
So here's another thing to work on. Don't ever ask, "Hi, is this?" And
Okay,
why is that?
because you want to act like you know him already, right?
Yeah. Who's got another idea?
It also puts the power on them. It gives the ball back to them because they can just say no. I do that all the time. Hi, is this Lewis Weaver? I'm like, nope.
Nope.
I don't
Yeah,
want because
yeah, because
Wrong
who
number.
else who else is answering Josh or Daniel or Justin or Lewis's phone? Like, yeah. I mean, once in a while your wife might pick up the phone or something, but all that does is say red flag, this is not somebody I know. So just assume that's who it is, because what's the worst case scenario if it isn't? Oh no, I'm
they'll
right.
tell you. They'll tell you
Yeah,
every time.
they'll
Hey,
tell
this
you.
actually isn't Lewis. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So just assume it's them, all
It's an
right?
easy out. I always want to get out. Like if someone's just called me right now and I'm like, hey, and they're like, hey, is this Lewis? Nope, it's not. Wrong number. See ya.
Yes.
I think it
Okay, who?
immediately puts in our head that it's a sales call and we
Yeah.
just want to
Hmm.
get off immediately as quick as possible.
Right, right. So we're going to mirror and match. We're going to assume who it is, and then we're going to look for a reason to do something, right? To continue this conversation. So, Jamie, you were absolutely spot on. I'm moving past, I got to shut you down. Like, nah, I wasn't really looking, but you kept pushing past that, right? Josh says my favorite has been is, hey, is Lewis around like a bro, not a polished sales guy? It's a good one too. Um, so moving on with that, here's another one I want you to stay away from, and that's the dreaded checking in. Does anybody here put a one in the
Oh,
chat if you've ever been guilty of that?
I've done it.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say, so I'm going to start with checking in, right? And do we know why checking in doesn't work? Because it tells you have no valid reason to be calling them, right?
Yep.
It makes you appear desperate, right? Or that you lacked confident or it's self-serving. Like you don't know this person generally. So calling to check in, what does that mean, right? People who don't know me, I mean, heck, my friends don't even call in to check in with me. So it's pretty rare when a random stranger calls to check in.
Yep.
So so instead use it to a positive. Now let's say for example, I saw you saw we're looking at 123 Main Street, and I just wanted to share the seller is now offering a huge flooring credit. Would that interest you? Right? So now we've taken it, from our introduction, our reason for calling, and then now we're bringing them into it through a conversation. Okay? Another way might be perhaps this is an old lead and hey Cheyenne, I saw spoke a few minutes ago and you were waiting for rates to come down. How are you feeling now with the current rate cut? Right? everybody's got people in their database that they probably haven't called in a while and are a little afraid to call now because it's been so long, right? So use this instead of checking in, use it as a reason to make a connection or a reconnection. Another good example is, let's say you haven't talked for a lead for 6 months, but the last time you did, you made a note they were having knee surgery. How might we continue that conversation? Anybody want to take a stab at that?
Yeah, that's knee surgery. That's surgery.
Oh,
I-
I'm not sure how, Karen, or you're, oh, I can mute, unless she wants to go. Karen, are you wanting to role play? We'll mute Karen.
Okay.
Does somebody want to give that a shot?
How about last time we spoke, you were recovering from knee surgery. How's that going? Is it genuine? Are you really asking a genuine question, right?
Yeah.
Can you feel confident that you're genuinely curious about how that went, right? It's not faked and it's not checking in because when you say checking in, it's really saying, are you ready to transact yet? Because I need a paycheck.
Mm-hmm. Are you ready to buy? Are you ready to pay me? Is what they hear.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see, what do we got over here? You told me you told that Papa, I'm not checking you. I'm checking if we left the previous conversation. Yeah. Yeah, that's Josh has got some good insight there. We're going to talk a little bit about using our technology here in a little bit.
Hey, and one
So
thing,
then,
my meeting at 10 is getting pushed back till about 10:07, so if we can keep jamming too also on that.
perfect. So now let's talk about, we've covered the introduction, right? And we've covered what we're not going to do. We're gonna mirror and match in the beginning. We're not going to say checking in, right? And we're not going to ask who this is. And then the next thing is we're going to have two essential questions. And I know Sean could answer at least one of these. Anybody want to take a stab at the essential questions? Cheyenne? Lisanne? Okay, so one is, what's got you looking, right? The gold standard question is, what are you looking to change about where you live right now?
Okay.
So who wants to do a reverse phone call here? And I'll call you.
I will.
All right. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, Sean, this is Tosh with Willamette Properties Group. Hey, I saw you were looking at the couple homes on our website and just wanted to ask you a couple of questions. You got a few minutes?
Yeah, yeah, what's up?
Good. Hey, so I was wondering what you were looking to change about where you're living right now.
I'm just, I've kind of outgrown my current house and just, trying to, find something maybe a little bit bigger.
Understood. Outgrowing the current house. So what do you mean by that? Is you got a growing family or what's changed?
Yeah, just kids are getting bigger. Got teenage boys and they like to eat a lot and so I need more space. And then with them, being teenagers, I got kids over at my house all the time. So I
Oh
need
my
space
gosh,
for them.
I understand that. I went through four teenagers myself. My condolences. So what are we looking for? Like 8 bedrooms, 10 acres?
No, no, no. I would love like 5 bedrooms and like, just like an area, maybe like a basement area that the kids can hang out, like a hangout area.
Gotcha. So, if you don't mind me asking, is this just kind of a browsing, or do you have a timeline where you actually like to be making this change?
Right now I'm just kind of browsing. We've just, my wife and I have just been kind of talking about it.
Okay, great. Okay, so does anybody believe that that could be an actual phone call?
Absolutely, because that is actually what Sean's looking for. I know Sean. That was really authentic of what he's looking for.
The thing is when you're come from a point of being genuinely curious, the conversation will flow. When you remove the need to make a sale, to glean every bit of information and just start being curious about what they're doing. That question, what are you looking about where you change right, where you live right now, just takes down so many avenues because people are going to say, well, I'm tired of renting. My husband passed away. We're downsizing, whatever it is. There's just a multitude, and it's just such a great starting off. The next one is, are you thinking about making a purchase in the next days, weeks, months, or are you just browsing? You got something, Lewis?
Oh, I just wanted to say, me and Sean had a conversation after you first coached with him, and he was telling me the epiphany where he was telling him the reasons why he didn't want to call, and you called him out on it and said, because you're making it about you, and you need to quit worrying about you and paying your bills or anything like that. Make it just stay curious. All you're doing is calling and being curious and asking questions and learning more about, take all the pressure off. Just call and ask some questions and learn more about their situation and see if you can help. And Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, but changing the mindset of you're literally not trying to get a commission anymore. You're calling to understand and see if you be the right fit to help someone. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, that and partly yes to that, but also just you're there, you have information that they really are wanting, and you're just there to give them the information and help them out in any way, shape, or form. Whether they proceed with you or not is one thing, but you're just there for information.
And did that help you make the calls? Because I
Oh,
think the number one
yeah,
thing of everyone
100%.
on this
Yep.
group right now, what is going to get them to actually make a phone call
To
and
just
screw up and
dial.
make mistakes and
Yep.
learn, do it
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And you
I've
were
made
able to change
tons.
that mindset of like, I'm just going to help. I'm just going to call and
Yes.
learn.
Yep. I'm there to help. And I took myself out of it, which was huge. That was hard. It's still hard. It's still hard to do. And I still get, anxiety or whatever, when I make my calls sometimes, but yeah, I'm getting more polished and better. But I don't know. As soon as I took myself out of it, like Tosh taught me, it helped me a million times over. It was just crazy what that mind shift did for me.
It's awesome.
Yeah. And remember, this is learning a new skill that's really very foreign to most of us. So it takes practice and practice, and it takes a ton of role play. And for our team, that's been, was the big pivot point was just doing that role play once, twice, three times a week. Sorry, my dog's growling. Nothing.
That's awesome.
But that's the key, is to just keep redoing it and making the calls over and over until it becomes such nature. I want you to know that this doesn't come naturally for most people. I'm the guy at the cocktail party that when people ask me questions, I really am excuse me for just a minute. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say while he's fighting his dog, I'll say one thing. I was talking to a top producer, and we came to the conclusion that I hope no one takes offense to this, but most real estate agents are scavengers and opportunists, meaning they'll work really hard when they see a dead animal or a deal, right? They'll fight over it, they'll go down, they'll swoop in, they'll try and steal all the meat. But the ones that crush it are the hunters. They're the
Yeah.
ones that are looking for deals everywhere, not just that are easy laying on the ground right there, right? And calling on these leads and just getting the guts to actually do it makes all the difference, even if you screw up for the first 2 weeks. But I've always seen that if you consistently stick at it, you'll be successful no matter what, because everything you do today pays you in 3 to 6 months. So if you consistently call for 2 weeks and then quit, you won't ever see the results from it. You have to continue and continue and then the ball will start rolling, and it'll just know that if you land a deal today, you're probably not getting paid for 3 months. So you need to call tomorrow too, and the next day, and the next day. Sorry, I just want to chime in while you're fighting.
Yeah, and I personally love the idea of knowing I'm going to have a paycheck in 3 months and 6 months, because hasn't that always been a problem with this industry? Is once you close the last one, then what? You know.
Yeah.
So this is building a pipeline, and I was saying I'm the guy at the cocktail party that I am very uncomfortable answering questions about myself, but I love talking to other people and learning things about them. So when you approach these leads with natural curiosity, nosiness, whatever you want to call it, and you're getting them to do the talking, you're the one that's winning, right?
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to call on Cheyenne, and I need somebody to be the lead. Who will step up and be the lead?
I will.
Okay. So Dessa, Cheyenne's gonna call you, and then she's gonna take you through the process. Okay.
Okay.
Ring ring.
Hello.
Hello, Dessa. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Hi there. I just had a note that you were browsing on my home search site and you were looking at 123 Main Street. And I just was wondering, are you browsing for fun or are you looking to make a move in the near future?
I kind of want to downsize right now.
Oh gosh, what's you have a really big house now? What's the reason for downsizing?
Yeah, we have a 4,000 square foot house and we're on a half acre and we're just tired of taking care of it.
Oh my gosh, I can totally relate. I grew up on 18 acres and it was constant work. So I can imagine you're busy spending your weekends out there cutting blackberry bushes and taking care of the property.
Yes.
Well, what's an ideal place look for you? About how many square feet are you looking for?
Maybe like 2,000 square feet.
Okay. And are you looking to be kind of in a neighborhood or
Either I don't want a lot of land, but I don't want to be on top of my neighbor either.
okay, I totally understand that. It's not fun to be able to open your windows and see your neighbor.
Yeah.
So who all is moving with you?
Me and my husband and my two teenage kids.
Okay. Do you have any pets at all that are moving with you?
Yeah, I have a little Frenchie.
Oh my gosh, those are so cute. They make the funniest noises. I have a golden retriever, so I understand. So you need a yard. You need some
Yes.
fenced yard. Okay.
All
Perfect.
right. Scene right there. Does Cheyenne have enough to basically steal her identity by now?
Yes.
Right. Do you think Cheyenne's made a phone call or two?
Yeah.
I would say at least 5.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is Cheyenne's natural rhythm. Would you agree this is pretty much your go-to day to day, Cheyenne?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you almost always are going to walk away with, why are they moving? Who are they moving with? When do they want to do this? What are they looking for? Right? She gathered all that in the matter of, 30 seconds, right?
Well, and
So
also not being too salesy too, keeping it light and, and focusing a little bit on their personal things that they mention because not everybody just wants to talk about real estate immediately.
yeah, yeah, and looking for those common connections. So
Can I
if I
hop in real
had,
quick? Sorry,
yeah,
I've got to go to my next meeting, but if you guys, who's finding this helpful? If you're finding it helpful, can you put a 2 in the chat just so we know if we're awesome? So people are liking it. That's great. I'm just going to keep my screen going so I don't shut everything off if you're all right with that. And then I'm going to do my other meeting. But Tosh, you can end it whenever you guys feel ready.
got it, got it.
I got to
Thanks,
go
guys.
too, Tosh. So I'm on
Yeah,
the
it's
All
our
right.
executive
See you
board
guys
meeting.
later.
We just wanted, so.
Thank you, guys. Awesome. Okay, so who wants to try it between each other? Who wants to be an agent and who wants to be a lead?
I want to try because I have a lead that I did 6 months ago from an open house. And
Okay.
so I want to call her, but I'm obviously scared because I've never done that before. So I want to try it.
Okay. Do you want to go up against somebody else or like me?
I don't care.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's reverse this.
Okay.
Let's have you be the lead from the open house, and then let's have
Okay.
Lisanne call you and do the follow-up.
Okay.
Oh man. Okay. Ring ring.
Hello.
Hey, what's your name? Dessa.
Dessa. Yeah.
Hi, hey Dessa, how's it going? This is Lisanne with Willamette Properties Group.
Good.
Hey, we talked a while back at an open house, and I'm just checking in to see, sorry, that's me checking in. I'm just
Okay.
checking in to see how things are going with you these days. Are you still looking at homes?
Yeah, I think me and my husband are ready to start looking.
Awesome. What kind of home are you looking for?
I want to stay in the neighborhood that you had the open house.
Okay, well, that's 123 Main Street. That's a great neighborhood. What is it you like about that neighborhood?
I've just made a lot of friends here, so I don't want to move away from them.
Gotcha. Okay. So are you looking for a larger home or smaller home?
We're just
What's your
renting.
motivation here?
We're renting, so we're just ready to buy. I did talk to your lender that you sent me to, and I told him that we weren't quite ready, but to check back in 6 months.
Okay, that's fine. So you're planning a little bit ahead, and that's great. That's what we love to see. So when we look at your home, are you looking for a specific style of home?
Okay, scene there.
Okay.
So good. Okay, so critique that, Dessa. How did that feel as a lead?
Yeah, it felt fine. That I'm gonna
Did you
do the
feel like
call.
did you feel like you were making a connection
Yeah,
there?
yeah. It felt like she was genuinely interested in like what I needed, you know.
Okay. And this is a 6-month-old open house lead, or how long
Uh-huh.
ago did you say
Yeah,
it
I
was?
sent her to my lender. My lender called me back and said, "Hey, I reached out to her and then she said she wasn't ready for like 6 months. They're still renting. So maybe she was like getting her finances together. So it's been 6 months, so I should probably call now."
Okay. So a question there is, has the lender reached out to him in that meantime? Do you know?
I don't think he has.
So that's kind of how personally, I like to make the lender do a bit of the heavy lifting, right?
Oh, okay.
And is this a lender you would trust enough to say that would tell you if they had gone and bought with somebody else?
Yes.
Okay, that's first thing I would do is get that lender to call them and figure out where they are.
Okay.
Now, if he says they're in a good position to buy or they're ready or something like that, because otherwise, why make the call, short of
Ye-
without having the information?
Yeah. Okay. It's a good
Now
idea.
let's say you did know. Okay, so now we're going to
Mm-hmm.
make a call with somebody we haven't talked into in 6 months. A
Mm-hmm.
great intro of that is, hey Dessa, glad to talk to you again. I was going through my files. We had spoke at that beautiful open house over there on whatever street. Did
Mm-hmm.
you ever end up buying?
Okay.
So that's going to answer a lot of question for you, right? Did you ever end up buying? Because if they say yes, well, now
Okay.
again, you've optimized your day, and if they say
Mm-hmm.
no, now we can take it to the next point, right?
Yeah.
And do you have enough information from your conversation at the open house? Like, did you
I
make any notes or anything from them?
yeah, I remember everything that we talked about.
So bring that up because
Okay.
what does that show when you speak to somebody 6 months later and you're like, last time we spoke, your son was just getting ready to go into kindergarten. How's he
Mhm.
doing?
Okay.
Isn't that a very different conversation than are you ready to buy now?
Yeah.
Are you pre-approved, right?
Yeah.
We're removing the transaction and moving to the relationship, right? So the reason that I had Lisa Ann do that is because she has a little bit different style, obviously, than you saw with Cheyenne. And it's not bad, it's just different style. Because
Hmm.
Lisa Ann can find a connection with a ham sandwich, right? She can build some sort of rapport of, a common ground, whether it's horses or, going to school, or she has an uncanny ability to make common connections. So there's no 100% right or wrong way to do these things. It's just about being genuine about where you're coming from and making that connection. So Karen says, for converting to appointments, agreed. This is converting to appointments, but if you lead with the appointment, it comes off too strong, right? If I just called Karen up and said, hi, Karen, I saw you were looking on my website. Can we meet this week? Right? Is that coming off maybe too harsh, too much, right? Most people don't want to make an appointment with somebody they've never met or barely talked to on the phone. This is about getting a relationship started and then leaving with the appointment being the next logical step in this. Does that make sense to everybody? That was a great call, Destin. It's a good one. You feel pretty comfortable you can make this one now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Who else? Who else has got somebody they don't want to dial up or a new lead they're not sure how to approach? Nobody? Okay, so let's move into the calling. So who put a one in the chat if you actually have leads in your database that you need to call or you haven't called for a while. Yeah, I know, Cheyenne. You didn't need to put a one in. Anybody else sitting on leads they should call? So let's talk about getting in the framework, right? The right time to call, the right mindset. We all know mindset is everything, don't we? So when should you be calling leads? Anybody want to throw something out there?
You should call them when you see that they're online looking,
Yep,
if
that's a
you have
great
that
one.
ability.
Yeah. Cheyenne, anything?
I was gonna go more like with yourself, like when you are ready.
Yes,
When you feel good.
exactly, right? So the wrong time to call the lead is when you just tripped over your dog or spilled your coffee or argued with your spouse, right? Because energy comes through. Even though, we know that about so much about nonverbal communication, so much comes through when you're coming from a bad place or an upset, you had a bad phone call with another agent, just lost the deal. That is not the time to pick up the phone and call leads because that's going to come across. So put yourself in that right mindset, genuinely caring about what this stranger is doing, removing your need to get something from this transaction and making it about them and not you. So that gets us to a practical strategy of how do we get set to call leads, right? I'm going to give you a gold tip here. And if you walk away with any note, this is a good one. So most people that are proficient at calling leads, they set time aside a day. That's their lead calling time, right? They block it out. And that's the way to do it because otherwise you're just kind of scattered throughout the day. But start your day by calling 4 or 5 people you already know. Yeah, calling 4 or 5 people that you already know. Why is that? So when you're calling 4 or 5 people you already know, maybe they're past clients, they're current clients, they're your mom, it sets a stage for a successful call, right? It's starting you off already as a winning, warm conversation. And that means when you start dialing down the list of people you don't know, your mindset is already, hey, I've already started the day with 1 or 2 great conversations from people who know, like, and trust you, right? When you call people, think about where their mindset is. When your phone rings, do you expect it to be horrible news? Well, most of us, no. We're expecting when our phone rings for something to be hopeful, inquisitive, or helpful, right? We don't dread our phone ringing, and most people don't. So when they pick up that phone, think about what you're bringing to the conversation. Are you bringing value? Are you bringing curiosity? Are you being genuine? Are you looking to make a real connection? Or are you just trying to get your next deal? Because believe me, it's going to come across. It's kind of like, I have an analogy of when you're walking on the beach. Like when you walk on the beach and you don't find a sand dollar, do you just say, I'm never going to bother walking on the beach again? Right? No, you're doing it for the experience. So approach calls the same way, enjoying the conversation regardless of the outcome. Is anybody finding value here so far? Are we learning things? So who's got a really tough problem or a tough situation they're having a hard time getting past? Anybody? Yeah, Eric. Is anybody struggling with any particular thing? Because believe me, it is natural to struggle with this and to not know what to say or when to call or how to respond.
Yeah, I was just saying, Tosh, that I'm definitely finding value here. I'm a newer agent and just looking to kind of jumpstart some clients with some online leads. And so just This is all great, not even knowing where to start with any of this. So this has been super valuable.
Good. That's great to hear. Thank you so much. So I want to bring up something on that then before we kind of close out and talking about technology. And for us and our business, we have all the relationship stuff. We do a ton of role play. We do all that, but without technology that goes along with it, you're really, you're really kind of behind the eight ball. And so I'm just going to talk a little bit about using technology. And I don't know what systems everybody has, but if you're using any kind of a quality CRM and, kind of a lead engagement system, most of those are going to tell you when leads are online, what properties they're viewing, that kind of stuff. Use that information. There was an Omnis panel survey on Zillow surfing habits, and it revealed that most people browse for homes while in bed. 60% browse right before they go to sleep. 26% browse right after they wake up. So for many people, it's a common escapist activity like scrolling social media. So I'm not saying call people nighttime when they're in bed, but use that timing to your advantage. Use that time to send relevant emails, to send properties, things like that, when you know that they're browsing. And then call people when they're most active, not when it's most convenient for you. Definitely we'll touch on that, Lauren, here in just a second. So this is something that I've really worked with on newer agents because they try to schedule their day, they're taking classes in the MLS, they're going to showings or something like that. And then when they get home at night, well, now I gotta call my leads. And guess what? Nobody's answering. If you have a good system and you see that lead Joe is looking at homes every day consistently between 10 a.m. and 10:30, when should you be calling him? When he's looking at homes, right? So use leveraging into technology to optimize your time and the success to make that connection with them. So don't make it about your schedule. Meet the lead where they are. Pay attention to their patterns and reach out when they're engaged, right? Let's see, Lauren, we'd love to hear your situation. Can you tell that to us?
Yes. So I received a lead from my husband's cousin who lives up in Idaho. They do a market report, and he reached out and said that this person had been looking at their market report, and usually that indicated that within the next 45 to 60 days that they'd be looking to potentially sell. So he
Great.
said, do you want to reach out to them and then we'll work out, a referral later. So
Yeah.
I'm not one that calls on leads, hence why I'm on this call. So
Sure.
all of the things when you were like, does this fear? Does this fear? Like, yes, it all rings
Yeah.
true because it's paralyzing,
Well, yeah.
unfortunately.
And let's double down. How'd you like to call somebody and tell them you know exactly what they're doing online?
I know,
You
you sound
know?
like a stalker. Yes. That's the part I think that is kind of the block where I'm like, how do I call
Yep.
and like not sound like a stalker?
So there's a mutual party here, right? Is that
Yes. Uh-huh.
okay? And is that person somebody that can provide a third party introduction, or are they just saying, here's a lead, run with it?
Here's a lead, run with it. Yeah, they've never made contact. It's just someone they saw from their report of the
Perfect.
market report views. So there's
Okay.
no soft introduction either. So it's very much cold lead, like it's or not.
And
It's a warm lead because they looked on the report, but cold from
yeah.
introductions.
Okay, so love it. That's a great one. So, like, this is where we embrace the suck, right? I don't know this
Yeah.
person. This is going to come across as creepy. Like, love it. Let's dive in because this is where we learn. So, first off, I assumed you looked up a little bit about the house and you kind of know the neighborhood and that sort of
Hmm.
stuff, right?
Yes, yes. Uh-huh.
So, same thing. First phone call, right? Is, hey, I saw you were looking up your home value online. We don't need to explain where or how,
Okay.
right?
That's my question.
And
Yeah. I was
yeah,
curious because I don't know exactly what they saw when they looked. He didn't share the particular market report. So
yeah, and it's almost better that you have that, don't
new.
have that information, right?
Okay,
So
good.
here's a couple ways it's going to go. Let's say I saw you were looking at your home market report online. And then without pause, what's got you thinking about a move?
Okay.
right? So we're immediately, we're not going to give them the opportunity to say, where did you see that or this or that?
Mm-hmm.
We're going right into why were you doing that? And then their response might be, I was just curious about the value. We aren't thinking about moving, various
Mm-hmm.
things like that. It's kind of the, what are you looking about to change where you live, right?
Yes.
It's the same sort of thing. So, you know, what might he say here? Well, I think the value is pretty low, right? Or the
Mm-hmm.
value is really high. This is your opportunity to be the market expert and ask leading questions,
Mm-hmm.
right? I
Right.
see I see you live in, X neighborhood. That is such a beautiful neighborhood. I've
Mm-hmm.
sold, my buyers have love that area.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime there's an opportunity to bring it back to your experience and your buyers use it. Eric, was it you that was new, that's kind of new in the business?
Yeah.
So, just to divert a little bit, right? That's a little tough because sometimes you have a little imposter syndrome. You don't have stuff. So always lean on things like, well, my buyers have said that they like this area, or my buyers have found that, these interest rates have actually helped them to get more seller credit, right? So you build your cred at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, Lauren, I think that's just having that conversation and if he says, well, where'd you get my information? Here's another one we'll hear quite a bit. How'd you get
Mm-hmm.
my information? And the best way is to just sort of play that off. Oh, I can't really explain the internet, but you probably signed up for something somewhere and,
Okay.
and I got your information. But hey, while I've got you on the phone, what'd you think of that home valuation? Did you find it accurate? Like
Mm-hmm.
open that conversation.
Yes. Yes.
So
Okay.
let's play that. Do you have that name's the name or just use my name?
Sure.
So go ahead and just ring me and I'll be the lead.
So I'm ringing you. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Ring, ring.
I'm the guy that signed up on the home valuation.
Oh, okay. All right. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello. This is Lauren with Real Broker. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Lauren. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you. I saw your name pop up on a report that I received from you looking at the market report for your home, and I just wanted to get some more information on what motivated you to do that and if you had any plans to move in the near future.
Okay. Good. Good. So a couple things I think I would alter a little bit on that.
Yes.
Um, does anybody have anything input there? Eric, anybody?
I really like just pretending I'm saying their name, calling them
Yep.
by name. I
Hmm.
think that's such a good wall knocker downer.
Instead of saying I saw your information pop up, you want to take a little bit of ownership here. I
Okay.
saw you were looking at your value on my website,
Okay.
or just I saw you were looking at your home value.
Okay.
What's got you interested in the value of your home,
I love
right?
that. Okay.
Just trying not to push them. You don't want to really give them an opportunity to shut you down or give you an objection, and you have to overcome that early. We
Hmm.
want to get more into talking about what's making them think about changing, right? And then maybe it's just curious about the market, right? I mean,
Right.
now often a lot of people will go, well, I was just curious about the market. And then what do they do? Okay, yeah, I'm starting my car. I'll be over there in 5 minutes to give you a CMA.
Right.
We all know that agent. This is a time to step back and build a relationship.
Yes.
Because if that guy wanted to sell his house, does he have to look very hard for a listing agent?
No.
No. But what he wants to know is either what his house is worth or where
Hmm.
it sits in the market. So let's understand the motivation as why he's asking for this. So,
So
mhm.
I was gonna say, and if I've done like a CMA at that point, like, do I share that kind of information with them over the phone, or is that more, no, you would really want to get in front of them?
Well, I think from our experience, the first number to somebody hears is the last number they hear.
Okay. Okay.
So if you're wildly off, you're not going to get a call back if he disagrees with your number, or worse, you overvalue it and then you get there and it's different.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity when you're talking about home valuations are opportunities for us to have discussions about the importance of the expertise of an agent in that market, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
They're tools, and we want to help them understand that they're tools, but there's no substitute. And, one of the lines we obviously use is, when they say, well, Zillow says my house is worth X. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely understand that, Zillow is an effective tool, at getting information off the internet. What it doesn't know is all those great updates that maybe you've made up inside, or
True.
the fact that your neighbor is running a junkyard. That's when you need me there
Right.
to give you real world advice. And I always put it this way, because there might be things I can suggest to you to maximize your value or save you money, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I am pretty against, other agents here chime in, but really against giving values over the phone because it's just found that that's all that
Right.
sticks in their head and you're not going to get a second chance.
Right.
Again,
No, and I agree with that. What do you do if they kind of press you for it? If they're like, well, what do you think my home's worth? Because they kind of want to like
I
screen you
lean,
or whatever. How do you handle that?
absolutely. I would lean into that, and I would say, so this is a chance a little bit to. I'm going to give you a little bit of an inside pool here for a second. When we're interviewing we're going up for a listing competition,
Mm-hmm.
and they say, "Oh, I've talked. We're talking to other agents," and you're like, "Oh yeah, who are you talking to?" And they'll say, "Oh, I'm talking to Lisa Ann Dickinson." And I'm like, "Lisa Ann Dickinson? I've never heard of her." You know
Mm-hmm.
it's a little bit of a subtle ninja move there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you've just diminished your competition. So
Mm-hmm.
in this instance, I want you to say, insert lead name here. Eric, you know what? I've got to be honest with you. I wouldn't be a very good agent if I just spitballed a number,
Okay.
because part of my expertise in this market is knowing your properties, knowing your neighborhood, and every home is unique. And I'm sure yours has so many valuable features that if I
Mm-hmm.
just threw out a number, I might really be doing you a disservice, you
Yeah.
know. And what that is doing is saying all the agents you've talked to who are throwing out a number, yeah,
Mm.
right.
Yeah.
This is
Because
an
it,
opportunity to set you apart as an expert and a market leader, and then move for that. The
and it
next
really
step,
is the truth too.
yeah, definitely, right?
Right.
And and then you can kind of, if you want to continue a conversation and it doesn't feel like it's a time to move for an appointment, we might say, so let me ask you, what's really important to you about the value of your home? Is it about maximizing every dollar, or are you just
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure out what you could sell it for as it sits right now?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's going to open up more opportunity to have
Yeah.
further discussions. Like you might find out, well, you know, we're older, we need to downsize, or things like that. We're trying to, in reality, these first few conversations, or at least the first conversations, we're trying to not talk about real estate. Remember,
Yes.
we're trying to talk about motivation and connection.
Talk about motivation. Yep. Sorry,
Thanks, Josh.
I'm taking notes. I
No,
apologize.
no problem. No problem. I'm sure Lewis will send this out. So, anybody else have a stickler?
Thank you, Tosh.
You're welcome. Okay, so I want to leave you guys with this. We talked about the fears. We've broken them down one by one. We've given you tools and mindset. Now it's time to cast aside those fears and take action, right? I want to challenge each of you to go in and find your oldest lead, the one sitting at the bottom of the CRM, the one you were probably supposed to call back and you never did. And I want you to make that call. And then I want you to call the next one and the next one. Is anybody here? Is everybody solo agents or we got teams here? If you're
So
part of it solo, so solo agent, I want you to find a partner. I want you to find an accountability and a calling partner. It can be one of us, it can be in this group, but whatever it is, I want you to challenge yourselves. Oh, husband, wife, that's fantastic, right? If you're a team, challenge the people that you work with or on your team to make these calls. Make it a competition. Quick story, when we first started doing this, and we do our role play and everything, then everybody would run into their office and shut the doors and make their calls so nobody could hear them, right? Because nobody wanted to be embarrassed. Nobody wanted to be judged by all the dumb things you said and the uhs. And after a few weeks and a few more role play sessions, pretty soon our agents were just making calls out on the bullpen floor. They didn't care. They're walking to the
I was just seeing
bathroom.
if we could get a fixed second mortgage. So it wasn't at 8%.
Oof, 8%. Right? People, go out there, don't be ashamed, make these calls. Just do it. Because here's the truth, the success will start for you the moment you put your headset on and start dialing. The failure is guaranteed when you don't make the calls, right? The leads you don't call will never close. The conversations you don't have will never turn into relationships. So as soon as we get off this call today, let's make some calls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody got anything else?
Those calls are going to lead to those appointments. Somebody was saying that they were disappointed that we weren't setting appointments, but these calls are how you get the appointments.
Yep, this is step one, right? Build a relationship, move to the appointments. Cheyenne, do you have anything else to words of wisdom?
No, I think you pretty much covered it.
Okay. Well, I hope everybody found value. We're going to pick this up again. We're going to move on to the next stage, and we're going to keep practicing more role play until we're just so good at this. All right. Thanks,
Awesome.
everybody.
Thanks.